Bunsik refers to typical Korean street food such as tteokbokki, kimbap, Sundae, and tuigim. The word bunsik literally translates into food made of flour, although not all bunsik is flour-based. Today, we want to hear about the growing interest in K-bunsik in Europe, more specifically the Netherlands, where Korean restaurants are rapidly increasing. We now connect to our K-correspondent Patrick Park, co-founder of Seoulfood Amsterdam. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Good morning, or good afternoon.
Right, good morning to you, good afternoon to us. Well, Patrick, please, why don't we start with an introduction of yourself and your restaurant to our viewers?
Good afternoon, I'm Patrick. I'm co-owner of a Seoulfood restaurant in Amsterdam. We established in 2016, and we are known for our Korean comfort food.
2016, I mean, that's quite a long time already. I mean, Korean food seemed to be gaining popularity in Netherlands in recent years. I hear that you can find a number of Korean restaurants in Amsterdam. How much do Dutch people enjoy K-food?
Well, I would say Dutch people really enjoy K-food. With the rise of Korean popular culture, you can find numerous of Korean products now in regular Dutch supermarkets to try cooking at home. I think restaurant-wise, there were a handful of Korean restaurants starting in Amsterdam, but that was basically just for the Korean community here. And when we started in the Amsterdam city center, there was actually only 2 restaurants, including us. And now I think there's well over 25 now, not including Korean bars. The Korean bar trend is really booming at this point. So yeah, that increase really shows that it's getting really popular. Saying that Amsterdam is not that big of a city compared to other European capitals. And that trend is sort of copying with larger cities in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, like Rotterdam and Utrecht. So I think in general, yeah, people really, really love K-food.
So you and your restaurant are the pioneers in Amsterdam, it looks like. But I found it really interesting that the Netherlands was the #2 importer of Korean tteok, or rice cake, behind the US last year. And I guess this is because on the back of the popularity of tteokbokki, the bunsik, the K-bunsik tteokbokki spicy food. So could you tell us a little bit more about this popularity of K-bunsik in specific?
I think the Korean street food trend is really popular. It's gaining more popularity in the Netherlands. You can find places specifically for Korean street food. For example, places where you can get egg drop sandwiches, kimbaps. But I think from all of them, I think tteokbokki is definitely one of the people's fan favorite. I think in the beginning when we put it on the menu, it wasn't really that popular yet. So we really had to give people like a sample because people weren't really used to the texture. Texturally wise, I think the rice cake is so different than anything you can find in Western cuisine. Of course, once they tried it, they found that it was delicious. So, and now with the popularity of Korean dramas where tteokbokki is featured in, going on holiday to Korea, studying in Korea has really gained popularity as well. People come into our restaurant and they order tteokbokki straight off the bat without even checking the menu. So rice cake dishes are that popular at the moment. They're really trending.
Well, it's quite interesting that they are quite becoming like the favorites of Dutch people. So what are some other bunsik favorites in the Netherlands, and what do you think is maybe the reason behind their popularity?
I would probably say hands down kimbap. Kimbap is one of the go-to dishes at this point for Dutch people. I think what happened was Dutch people got introduced to Japanese cuisine a little bit earlier, I think. And they're used to eating sushi, which is basically just vinegared rice, raw fish, and seaweed. A little similar, but I think kimbap is so much more. And there's so many different varieties of kimbap, so many new trends coming out of Korea. now for different versions of kimbap, and it's like the perfect grab to go type of food, or grab and eat on your bike type of thing. I mean, biking is a really big thing in the Netherlands, so this sort of matches that lifestyle really well. So kimbap is definitely hands down a really popular dish now.
Oh, wow. I just had that. I just imagined how people are riding the bike, having that kimbap in their hand, makes us really proud. But Patrick, I wonder whether traditional or typical Dutch food goes well with Korean food, maybe. So, I mean, if someone says, oh, I want to have some K-food today, would they only eat that K-food, or could you also imagine having like Dutch food going side by side with Korean food? And do you think Korean dishes could bring about some change to the local palates with that?
I think it's already happening. Just for an example, I went out to lunch with a partner to a typically Dutch cafe, and we had like the quintessential Dutch lunch, which is, we call it toasty. So it's basically two slices of toast bread with melted Dutch cheese in there. But this version actually had their own homemade kimchi jam. And that sort of blew my mind. The fact that these Dutch chefs were actually making their own homemade kimchi and making this delicious jam with it, compared to the Dutch cheese that matched so well. Nowadays, if you go to any Western restaurant, there's so many influence of Korean cookery. These are really exciting times. So you have a lot of kimchi workshops. So people like moms are making kimchi at home. I think the Dutch palate definitely has changed.
Oh, that's very interesting to hear. So I would be curious whether you are thinking of adding some new menus to your restaurant now that we are actually seeing this popularity of K-food growing in Europe and the Netherlands, because before you mentioned that people were not really familiar with tteokbokki, you needed to have samples, but now do you think you could be a little bit more creative and add more menus?
I think so. I mean, we started just using like the traditional Korean dishes, and for now we're actually in development of making a new menu for the summer. We had some new trends that we found in Korea that we really wanted to try here, and it's still a work in progress. But I think it really matches like the warm weather in the Amsterdam summer. So I think it will definitely be something that our customers are gonna look forward to.
And Patrick, just briefly, what are some introductory dishes you'd recommend for foreigners who are maybe new to Korean food?
I would probably, I think it's always nice to start with something traditional. So I would probably go for bibimbap. Not only because it looks beautiful, it tastes delicious, but it has certain elements that is not really unfamiliar for foreigners. And if you're not used to like Korean heat or the spiciness level, in this dish you can actually adjust it to your own taste, to your own palate. Second one would be a favorite of mine, which would be a japchae. I think it's not really like an in-your-face type of dish, so it's really a low threshold type of dish that with the savoriness and the chewiness of the noodles would be really nice for first timer. And I think third would be like a fan favorite. It's probably not originally a Korean dish, but I think Korea made it its own. And as a Korean myself, I would probably say that it's one of the best versions, and that would probably be Korean fried chicken. And I think it's sort of self-explanatory. Everybody loves Korean fried chicken, so I think that would be definitely a go-to dish to get introduced with Korean cuisine.
All right, that's all the time we have today, Patrick. Thank you very much for connecting with us today. And we hope that many more Dutch people will fall in love with Koreans' favorite street food. So thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, Walter. I'll see you back next week. And maybe after the show, we could grab some tteokbokki. My mouth is watering now.
Yeah, I'm starving. See you soon.
All right, thank you, Walter.